The Lotus Sutra Part 3, The Path of Enlightenment We Walk Together. Hello everyone. Today we're going to take the third journey through the Lotus Sutra together. Until last time, we shared stories about discovering the treasures hidden within ourselves. We realized that the son who thought he was poor was actually a rich man's son, that a single rain from the sky nurtures all plants without discrimination, and that precious jewels are already hidden in our clothing. Today we'll encounter more practical and realistic stories. They contain deep wisdom about how to set and achieve life goals, how to respect each person's different timing and pace, and how to encourage and help each other on the journey we take together. We who live in modern times are constantly demanded to show results and outcomes. We live under pressure to succeed quickly, get ahead of others, and not fall behind. But the Lotus Sutra offers us a completely different perspective. It tells us that true success lies not in speed but in direction, not in competition but in cooperation, and that the slow path we take together is more meaningful than the fast path we take alone. The three main themes we'll share today are these. First, through the story of a phantom city that appeared for desert travelers, we'll learn wisdom about goal setting and step-by-step growth. Next, through the story of 500 disciples each gaining enlightenment at different times, we'll explore the importance of individual differences in timing. Finally, through the story of disciples who have graduated and those still studying, we'll discover how people at different stages can grow together. I hope all these stories won't remain mere classical literature, but become practical wisdom that can be directly applied to our lives at this very moment. Especially, I hope they'll encourage you as you grow at your own pace and help you develop a heart that understands and respects others' differences. Months to see your long journey across the desert. The parable of the phantom city in the chapter contains the most realistic and practical teachings among all the Lotus Sutra's parables. It's like a mirror that perfectly shows our life's journey itself. It's like there being a dangerous and distant road of 500 or 1,000 yojanas, a place without people that's frightening, full of poisonous insects and evil spirits, with no water or grass, a place people fear. 500 or 1,000 yojanas is an enormously long distance. One yojana is about 40 li, so this represents a distance of 20,000 to 40,000 li. This symbolizes life's long journey, or the distant path to enlightenment. The expression dangerous and distant road precisely shows our reality. Life is never an easy, smooth path. Unexpected difficulties keep appearing, sometimes we lose our way, and moments when we want to give up come repeatedly. A place without people that's frightening means loneliness and anxiety. Most important decisions in life must be made alone, and there are paths no one else can walk for us. Especially in processes of growth and change, we sometimes experience the loneliness of having to leave familiar relationships or environments. Full of poisonous insects and evil spirits symbolizes various temptations and obstacles we encounter on the journey. In modern terms, this means negative emotions like addiction, laziness, despair, anger, and jealousy, or wrong desires. No water or grass represents the lack of basic resources needed to sustain life. It means situations where we must give up immediate livelihood or stability in the process of pursuing dreams and ideals, or situations where mental energy is depleted. This exactly matches the various difficulties modern people experience. The process of deciding on a career, starting new challenges, solving relationship problems, finding oneself, all of these are like such dangerous roads. This also connects with what psychologist Joseph Campbell calls the hero's journey. All growth happens through adventures of leaving the familiar world and entering the unknown world. In that process, we inevitably experience trials and hardships, but when we overcome them, we gain true maturity and wisdom. A large group of people wanted to pass through this dangerous road to seek treasure. Among that group was a guide who had much wisdom and intelligence, clearly knew various things, and well understood the difficulties and ease of the dangerous road, so he wanted to lead the group through this path. The fact that a large group goes together is important. Because it's a road that can't possibly be traveled alone, companions are needed. This contains wisdom that we shouldn't try to handle life's difficult processes alone, but should go together with good colleagues. Going to seek treasure doesn't mean simple material purposes, but represents the journey to find life's meaning and value, true happiness. The specific goals each person pursues might be different, but there's a common orientation toward creating a better life. The existence of the guide is special. Having much wisdom and intelligence and well understanding the road's difficulties and ease means leadership that can guide others through experience and wisdom. Such a guide can be a teacher, mentor, senior, or sometimes a good friend or family member. This role is very important in modern society, too. People are needed who share their experience with juniors as life seniors, provide direction during difficult times, and encourage them not to give up. This also matches the concept of mentoring in education. An effective mentor doesn't just transmit knowledge, but must have the ability to accurately grasp the mentee's situation and provide appropriate help at the right time. Midway, the group became tired and said to the guide, "We are exhausted and also afraid. We can't go any further now, so we want to turn back. The remaining road ahead is long and wide, and the road we've traveled so far has been dangerous and difficult." This is the most realistic moment in life's journey. The moment when you're going toward a goal but get tired halfway and want to give up. The road traveled so far was difficult, but the road ahead looks even longer and more dangerous, so you'd rather turn back. Everyone experiences this kind of feeling. Moments when you want to give up while studying, moments when you want to quit because you're afraid of failure while doing business. Moments when you think it would be better to live alone when difficulties arise in relationships. This also connects with what modern psychology calls the plateau phenomenon. When learning or mastering something, there's rapid progress initially, but at some point you enter a stagnation period where progress isn't visible. This is when many people give up. It's also like the valley of change in change management theory. When starting something new, expectations are high, but once you actually start experiencing difficulties, there's a section where motivation drops sharply. You must navigate this section well for true change to be possible. What's important is that this emotion is natural and normal. In every growth process, there are inevitably such stagnation periods and slumps. It's important not to regard this as personal failure or lack of ability, but to accept it as an inevitable process of growth. Chalk the appearance of wise, skillful means. At that time, the guide thought, "These people are so pitiful. Why do they want to abandon the great treasure and turn back? After thinking this, he used the power of skillful means to create a phantom city about 300 yojanas along the road. The guide's reaction is very impressive. He doesn't blame or force the people. Instead, he expresses compassion and understanding by saying they're pitiful. Abandoning the great treasure and turning back shows regret about giving up the goal. But more importantly, the guide uses the power of skillful means. Rather than directly forcing them, saying, "Stop complaining and keep going," he shows wisdom by setting an intermediate goal. Creating a phantom city about 300 yojanas along the road means setting a temporary goal at the midpoint of the overall objective. This is wisdom that exactly matches modern goal-setting theory. According to psychological research, goals that are too big and distant actually reduce motivation. Instead, it's more effective to divide big goals into several smaller goals and achieve them step by step. The project management technique called milestone setting follows the same principle. It divides big projects into small units so people can feel achievement at each stage. In education, too, there's a concept called zone of proximal development. The theory that setting goals at a level that can be reached with a little more effort from the current level creates the most effective learning. A phantom city means phantom castle. Though it doesn't actually exist, it's a temporary goal created by necessity. The reason this isn't a lie or deception, but wise, skillful means, is that its purpose is purely for the other person's growth and happiness. A parent promising a child, "If you get good grades on this test, I'll buy you what you want." A company saying, "If you succeed in this project, I'll give you a promotion opportunity." Or saying when exercising, "If we work hard this week, let's eat something delicious on the weekend." All of these play the role of such phantom cities. He said to the group, "Don't be afraid. Don't go forward, but rest here. There's a great city here where you can enter and rest and do as you please. If you rest and your fatigue is relieved, you can go to the place where the treasure is." Every word of the guide is full of thoughtful consideration. Starting with the encouragement, "Don't be afraid," he says, "Don't go forward," telling them to stop and rest first. It's wisdom not to push forward right now, but take a break. The expression, "do as you please," is also important. It means guaranteeing complete freedom and rest. True rest means the freedom to not have to do anything, space where you can be comfortable without burden. The condition, "if your fatigue is relieved," also shows wisdom that recognizes individual differences. It acknowledges that rest time can be different for each person and shows consideration that they'll accommodate each person's recovery pace. This wisdom is needed in modern workplaces too. Rather than just presenting unreasonable goals to employees, set step-by-step goals where they can feel achievement along the way, and provide sufficient rest and rewards at each stage. It's the same when parents educate children. Rather than only emphasizing the final goal of college admission, help them feel achievement by setting intermediate goals like improving grades this semester or achieving this month's reading goal. The same principle can be applied in self-development. Rather than the vague goal, "Let's become a perfect person," it's more effective to set specific, achievable goals like exercise 3 times this week or read 2 books this month. At that time, the exhausted group gained great joy and said, We have escaped from this dangerous road and gained comfort. So the group entered that phantom city, rested, and felt comfortable, and all their fears disappeared. The effect of the skillful means appears immediately. The exhausted group gaining great joy shows how powerful a motivating effect appropriate intermediate goals have. The perception of escaping from the dangerous road is important. Though they haven't reached the final goal yet, there's relief that they've at least passed through the dangerous section. This kind of achievement provides energy to move to the next stage. All fears disappearing means recovery of psychological stability. When anxiety and fear disappear, creativity and concentration are restored, and courage to challenge again emerges. Modern sports psychology also uses this principle. If you only present athletes with goals that are too big, performance might actually decline due to pressure. Instead, help them build confidence by step-by-step achievement of small goals. Learning psychology also emphasizes, quote, accumulation of success experiences. Small successes accumulate to create self-efficacy, the feeling, I can do it too, and this makes bigger challenges possible. Try creating such phantom cities in your own life too. If you're overwhelmed by too big a goal, try dividing it into several smaller goals, and celebrate and encourage yourself sufficiently at each stage. Try to divide of night mind Hicks' departure toward the final goal. At that time, knowing the group had rested and was free from fatigue, the guide made the phantom city disappear and said to the group, "Go forth. The place with treasure is near. The great city before was something I created so you could rest." This is the most moving moment. The guide making the phantom city disappear means the role of the temporary goal is finished. When he judges that people have rested sufficiently and recovered, it's now time to move toward the real goal again. The words, "the place with treasure is near," are important. Though the actual distance has gotten shorter, more importantly, people's mindset has changed. Because they've recovered strength and will through rest, the remaining distance now feels manageable. Honestly, revealing that the phantom city was skillful means is also impressive. This shows it was educational, skillful means, not deception. Because the purpose was good and the results were good, people can be grateful even when the truth is revealed. This provides important wisdom for parents, teachers, and leaders. Sometimes step-by-step goals or temporary motivation are necessary, but they shouldn't be permanent. At the appropriate time, you must present higher goals and lead to the next stage. It's the same concept as gradual removal of support in modern education, the process of initially providing much help, then gradually reducing support so they can eventually do it independently. It's the same in organizational management. For new employees, provide small goals and sufficient support, but as experience accumulates, gradually give greater responsibility and authority. The same principle can be applied in self-development. When starting exercise, begin with the small goal of walk 10 minutes daily, but once the habit is formed, raise the goal to exercise 1 hour 3 times a week. The world-honored one said, "The Tathagata is also like this, now being the great guide for all bodhisattvas, knowing that all living beings want to escape from the dangerous road of birth and death, but their minds retreat, saying, 'Buddha's wisdom is too difficult. We cannot attain it.' Buddha directly explains the meaning of this parable. Buddha, too, was the great teacher of all living beings, helping people escape from the suffering of birth and death. The expression dangerous road of birth and death contains deep meaning. The entire life from birth to death is one dangerous journey. All the pain and difficulties experienced in that process are like crossing a desert. The reason people want to give up halfway is also explained, because they think Buddha's wisdom is too difficult. The goal of complete enlightenment seems too high and distant, so they think it's impossible for them to achieve. This exactly matches the difficulties modern people experience in self-development or growth processes. Goals like, I must become a perfect person, I must become a successful person, or I must become a good person, are often so big and abstract that they actually cause people to give up. Knowing this, the Tathagata uses the power of skillful means to provide rest midway by teaching the nirvana of the two vehicles, saying, you have finished your work. What you needed to do for Buddha is all done. Having reached this nirvana, everything is extinguished. The explanation that Buddha too uses skillful means like the phantom city. By presenting the intermediate goal of the nirvana of the two vehicles, he enables people to achieve that first, and rest. The expression, you have finished your work, is important. Though it's not the final goal, it recognizes the achievement of one stage. This kind of recognition and encouragement is needed to generate power to move to the next stage. This matches the importance of achievement experience in modern psychology. No matter how small an achievement, properly recognizing and celebrating it becomes the driving force for continuous growth. This principle is important in workplaces too. When an employee completes part of a big project, saying, this part was really well done, and recognizing it is more effective than saying, it's not finished yet. That way, they can enthusiastically complete the remaining parts. It's the same when parents educate children. Rather than demanding perfectionism, saying, it's meaningless unless it's 100 points. Recognizing step-by-step growth, saying, you improved 10 points from last time, well done, is a healthier educational method. This attitude is needed toward yourself too, rather than continuously criticizing yourself for not being perfect. Recognize and encourage yourself for gradually improving. Times the different journeys of 500 disciples. Now let's move to the story from the chapter on the prediction for 500 disciples. This story beautifully shows that the time and method of reaching enlightenment is different for each person. At that time, among Buddha's disciples, 2,000 people, both in learning and beyond learning, all rose from their seats, put their robes over one shoulder, bowed to Buddha, and with one mind looked at Buddha, thinking, if the world-honored one would give us predictions too, how joyful that would be. The distinction between those in learning and beyond learning is interesting. Those in learning means people still in the stage of learning. Beyond learning means people who have reached the stage where there's nothing more to learn. In modern terms, it's like the difference between students and graduates, beginners and experts. What's important is that both groups are gathered together. Though at different levels, they're in the same place, hearing the same teachings. This shows that learning has no end, and people at different levels can grow together. The number 2,000 also has great meaning. That very many people are gathered together while each at different stages symbolizes unity within diversity. Everyone looking at Buddha with one mind means that despite differences in level, they have the same purpose and direction. Whether beginners or experts, they all have the common wish to become better selves. The earnest wish, if he would give us predictions too, is moving. Predictions are prophecies of future Buddhahood. In modern terms, the encouraging and hopeful message that you too can surely succeed. This shows the need for recognition and growth that everyone has. Seeing others being praised and encouraged while having the heart, I want to receive that kind of recognition too, is a natural and healthy emotion. Knowing the mental wishes of Aniruddha and other 500 arhats, Buddha said to Mahakāshyapa, "These 500 arhats will all become Buddhas in future worlds, and they will all be called by the same name, Universal Brightness Tathagata." Buddha immediately gives predictions, knowing their earnest hearts. This shows the qualities of a true teacher or leader, sensitively recognizing others' hearts and giving encouragement and hope at the appropriate time. The prophecy that all 500 arhats will become Buddhas is amazing. This is a hopeful message that regardless of current achievement level, all people can reach the highest state. The part about all being called by the same name is especially meaningful. Though there are individual differences, ultimately they reach the same completion. It's like climbing the same mountain peak, though taking different paths. The name Universal Brightness is also beautiful. It means universal and equal, indicating this is a state anyone can reach, not just a special few. This matches the belief in potential for all learners to succeed in modern education. Good teachers believe all students can succeed in their own ways and provide appropriate support. It's the same in organizational management. Effective leaders believe all team members can succeed by demonstrating their individual strengths and create individual growth plans. However, the time and method of their becoming Buddhas will each be different. Some after 3 asamkhya-kalpas, some after 4 asamkhya-kalpas, some after 5 asamkhya-kalpas will become Buddhas. This is a very important message that though they reach the same destination, the time is different. Asamkhya-kalpas means incalculably long time, and even that long time differs for each person. This shows deep understanding and respect for individual differences. It's not a judgment that fast is good and slow is bad, but recognition that each person has their own pace. This perspective is especially important in modern society. In an environment where everything changes rapidly and competition is fierce, we're pressured to be quick, but true growth and maturity follow individual inherent rhythms. Children's development is the same. Some children learn to speak quickly, some learn to walk quickly, some develop social skills quickly, but ultimately they can all grow into healthy adults. Career advancement and progression at work is the same. Some people succeed in their 20s, some in their 30s. Others don't demonstrate their true worth until their 40s or 50s. Learning is the same too. Some people understand theory quickly. Some learn better through practice. Some take time but understand deeply. What's important is recognizing and respecting your own pace. Rather than being impatient by comparing with others, steadily walk your own path. Also, the countries and environments where they become Buddhas will each be different. Some in the pure worlds of the East, some in the bright worlds of the South, some in the peaceful worlds of the West will become Buddhas. The explanation that not only time, but also place and environment differ. This means the forms of success aren't uniform. There are environments and conditions suited to each person, and they reach completion in their own way in those places. The expressions pure worlds of the East, bright worlds of the South, peaceful worlds of the West are beautiful. There are environments with different characteristics: purity, brightness, peacefulness, and they reach completion in places suited to their tendencies and characteristics. In modern interpretation, this means the fields and methods of success are different. Some people achieve their completion in academic fields, some in artistic fields, some in business fields, others in service fields. Even within the same field, there are various styles. Some teachers touch students through strictness, some through friendliness, some through creativity. Some leaders guide organizations through charisma, some through service, some through expertise. It's the same in families. Some parents raise children well through warm love, some through clear principles, some through free atmosphere. What's important is finding and developing your own style and strengths. Rather than blindly following others' success methods, find the way that suits you. Harmonious coexistence of learning and beyond learning. Finally, let's look at how people at different stages can grow together harmoniously through the story from the chapter on predictions for those learning and beyond learning. At that time, Ananda and Rahula thought, "We have always thought this way. If we too could receive predictions, we would be very joyful." They immediately rose from their seats, approached Buddha, bowed, and spoke to Buddha. Ananda was Buddha's cousin and the disciple who served as his attendant for life. Rahula was Buddha's own son. Though they had the closest relationships with Buddha, they were still in the learning stage, still in the process of learning. Their hearts are very human. Seeing other disciples receive predictions, they too want to receive the same recognition and encouragement. This is not a shameful emotion at all. It's also important that having special relationships doesn't automatically mean receiving special treatment. Having blood relations or intimate relationships doesn't mean you can skip the growth process. Each person must be recognized through their own effort and achievement. We often see this situation in modern society. When a founder's child enters the company, when a professor's student enters academia, even with special relationships, they must prove themselves through ability and effort to receive true recognition. World-honored one, we too have a share in this Lotus Sutra. If only others receive predictions and we don't, that won't do. This is a very honest and direct request. In the expression, "we too have a share," we see them asserting their rights and qualifications. This is healthy self-assertion. In the words, "if only others receive them and we don't, that won't do," we can feel their sense of equality. They're questioning why they should receive different treatment when they're making the same effort. Such direct requests are sometimes necessary. While humility is a virtue, sometimes courage to clearly express your needs and wishes is also needed. It's the same in modern workplaces. If you want promotion or recognition rather than just waiting, it's necessary to express your intentions in appropriate ways. It's the same in human relationships. Rather than just expecting the other person to understand your heart, Sometimes clearly communicating your wishes creates healthy relationships. Buddha said to Ananda and Rahula, "You will become Buddhas in the future." Ananda will be called Mountain Sea Wisdom Sovereign Penetration King Buddha, and Rahula will be called Seven Treasure Flower Buddha. Buddha immediately responds. This shows the importance of immediate response to legitimate requests. Good teachers or leaders sensitively recognize others' needs and give encouragement and hope at appropriate times. Ananda's future Buddha name, Mountain Sea Wisdom Sovereign Penetration King Buddha, is meaningful. It means a Buddha like a king, who freely penetrates wisdom as deep and vast as mountains and seas. This connects with how Ananda heard many teachings by Buddha's side throughout his life. Rahula's Seven Treasure Flower Buddha is also a beautiful name. It means a Buddha like flowers of seven treasures, symbolizing perfect completion where various virtues harmoniously combine. Giving each person an appropriate name also shows recognition of individuality. Even becoming the same Buddha, each has their own characteristics and colors. And their practice periods and times of becoming Buddha will also each be different. Ananda will become Buddha in the next world, after this world ends, and Rahula much later than that. Here, too, the difference in timing is emphasized. Even though they're father and son, cousins in close relationships, their achievement times are different. This provides important wisdom for people in families or close relationships. Don't expect to grow at the same pace just because you're close to each other. This is an especially important message for families with siblings. Don't expect or pressure the younger sibling to do well in the same way just because the older brother studies well, or pressure the younger sister to take the same path just because the older sister succeeded socially. It's the same in marital relationships. Don't expect your partner to follow at the same pace just because one person grows rapidly in some field, but respect each person's growth rhythm. Also at that time, 2,000 disciples in learning all rose from their seats, bowed to Buddha, and said, "World-honored one, we too wish to receive predictions." Now all the disciples still in the learning stage come forward together. Though they're in an uncompleted state, that doesn't mean they don't deserve to receive hope and encouragement about the future. Being in learning doesn't mean deficiency, but being in the process of growth. All learning and growth has a process, and that process itself is precious and meaningful. This perspective is important in modern education. Seeing students not as people who don't know yet, but as people who are learning, focusing on potential rather than deficiency. It's the same in workplaces. A perspective is needed that sees new employees or those with little experience not as people still lacking ability, but as people who are growing. Buddha said, "These 2,000 disciples will also all become Buddhas in the future. Their names will be called Jewel Sign Tathagata. They will simultaneously attain Buddhahood in different worlds in the same era." An amazing declaration. All disciples in learning will also become Buddhas without exception. It's a hopeful message that the current incomplete state doesn't limit future achievement. The name Jewel Sign Tathagata is also meaningful. It means Tathagata with precious characteristics, indicating each person is a precious being. Simultaneously, attaining Buddhahood in different worlds in the same era is also interesting. This can be interpreted as people who started at similar levels reaching completion in different fields at similar times. This is a hopeful message for peers or people who started under the same conditions. Though you're at similar starting points now, even while taking different paths, you can all ultimately succeed. Similar Starg's wisdom you can practice in daily life. Don't let the stories we shared today end as mere classics, but accept them as wisdom you can practice in daily life. First, develop the habit of dividing big goals into small steps. Like the Phantom City parable, set achievable intermediate goals and sufficiently encourage and celebrate yourself at each stage. It's okay not to be perfect. If there's progress, that alone is sufficiently meaningful. Recognize and respect your own pace. Being faster or slower than others doesn't mean there's a problem. What's important is steadily moving in your direction. Like the 500 disciples, each person has their own timetable. Also, recognize and respect others' differences. Don't be impatient if family, friends, or colleagues grow at different paces than you. Each person has their own way and timing. Whatever stage you're currently at, don't be ashamed of it. If you're in the learning process, like the disciples in learning, treasure that process itself. Only completed things aren't valuable. Growing itself is beautiful and meaningful work. When difficulties come, don't try to endure them alone. Like the people crossing the desert, be with good companions, and sometimes become a good companion for others. Don't be afraid to rest in the middle. Like the people who rested in the Phantom City, sometimes sufficient rest and recharging are necessary. Resting is also part of growth. Express legitimate requests clearly, like Ananda and Rahula. Courage to clearly state what you want is also needed. Humility is important, but not being able to properly reveal yourself isn't humility. Cultivate a heart that encourages and supports others. Especially give hope and courage to people still in growth processes. Your small encouragement can be great strength for someone. Accept failure or setbacks as opportunities for growth. Like the dangerous roads in the desert, life has difficult sections. But each time you pass through such sections, you become stronger and wiser. Finally, believe in your unique value and potential. Like the 500 disciples all becoming Buddhas with different names, you too are a precious being unique in the world. Your own completion, incomparable to anyone else, is waiting. I hope the stories we shared today plant seeds of hope in your heart. Whatever stage you're at, whatever difficulties you're experiencing, the power to overcome them definitely exists within you. Remember, you're not alone. There are many companions walking the same path. There's wisdom from seniors who went before, and there are people cheering you on. And above all, don't forget that you yourself are the most precious companion. Next time, we'll share other beautiful stories from the Lotus Sutra together. We'll explore deep messages about equality and eternal companionship, and the meaning of true love that transcends prejudice. Right now in this moment, the path you're walking is the correct answer. You're being beautifully completed in your own way at your own pace. Thank you.